Okay, so this isn't my favorite video to make because, like, I don't know, but I think people should be educated on it because, not just from my experience, but because, like, I don't know, maybe it puts a new perspective in some of your eyes. So I'm pretty sure, as most of you are aware, the political divide, but coming from a high schooler, I'm just going to tell you all, that it's gotten to the point where the truth has been exposed to most that there's no such thing as Republicans and liberals. Yes, in like the US government, technically those are terms, and they're not just opinions anymore. They're like the reflections of you, okay? So at this point, it's, are you pro-human right or not? And if you're pro-human right, that doesn't mean you're a liberal or a Republican, and if you're not pro-human right, that doesn't mean, okay, if some of you are getting sensitive, but what it does mean is the things that you agree with within these parties, okay? And the most notable party to make these things is the Republican Party. Okay, it's a very traditional value mindset, and one I'm like genuinely familiar with. As a kid, like, I didn't understand all these political things. Like, my parents didn't raise me homophobic, they didn't raise me all these things, but like their parents, I did notice more standards and stereotypes. And then throughout growing with like media and just like people in general, I did, of course, like, you notice these things, and people make that very aware whether it is they are against it or they are for it. But I mean, as soon as I did learn about it, I just loved everyone, and I didn't really know about the bad people, so I just wanted to be myself. Like, I don't know, like, I got bullied as a kid, but I didn't think it was bullying. And so when I dressed more like alternatively, I didn't think I was gonna get bullied, and when I did, it made me really insecure. Okay, so now we have an insecure 8th grader, like, you know, and a lot of 8th grade boys that don't know what they're talking about, and the media puts a lot of stuff out, and this isn't like, even like, I mean, if you don't want to talk about politics, then you shouldn't talk about beauty standards either, because that's very tied to politics. So yeah, already, as you can see, the media and beauty standards, it makes a person feel really insecure. Okay, now this is where it gets bad. I had a friend, and well, I'm still friends with her, and I love her to bits and pieces, but she would watch a lot of Republican people that I didn't quite agree with, and except, like, I really didn't until I became friends with her, and she was my only friend after I had gotten into some things with some people, and I was just in a really rough time, a really vulnerable place, and she had introduced me to religion, and I don't think she understood how, like, I am with those things, and so it put me into a psychosis, and all I wanted to be was not me. Like, you know, like what I'm saying, I just didn't want to be that. And when you look at religion, they can either give you the most perfect coping mechanism. For some, it's the fear of death. For some, it's like, I don't know, it's weird shit. And I don't know, it felt like it gave me the answer to being perfect, which you can't. So you can't be perfect. Perfectionism is a man-made idea. So anyways, as I was saying, like, I just got very, like, obsessed with these things. Like, these people were all I watched, like, Matt Walsh, what's her name? I can't remember her name, but she actually got removed off, I think, because she realized it was really weird. And the thing is, like, they never even made news about things, like, that were actually happening, that are proven to be happening. They just bashed on radical lefts. And the thing is, when I see a man wearing cowboy boots, what can I think? I can think, or even wearing red, white, and blue or something, like seeing a person have an America pin, what could I think of? They're really hardcore, like, in that stuff. Or if I see someone with colored hair, that means they're gay, you know? It's just these standards that people set, and I started off with one that's not talked about that much, because they're the ones creating the stereotypes, the men wearing the cowboy boots. But I know that, like, a lot of men have, like, really frail egos, so I have to make them feel a little bit better before I bash the fuck out of them. Because listen, I might have been insecure, but that gives no excuse for the things that I believed in. The result of my insecurity that the media had set was being ignorant towards human beings that are suffering. Souls that, if they had been born somewhere else, you might have felt more sympathy for them. The truth is, there's no radical side. It's, do you believe the world is worth living? For everything. Not just for humans, for everything. For the plants, for the trees. Do you think it's worth living? If not, you don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. You are on this planet, and you're not going to love everything it brings. Every life form it brings. You're going to, like, that's what disgusts me. I don't see a flower hating on nature. I don't see that. I don't see a flower committing genocide, mass genocide. I don't see that. Okay? If that's what you stand up for, you're not someone I feel bad for. Okay? I've heard a person talk about how humans should go extinct, because they've just rotted this earth, which is so disrespectful. You are so disrespectful, but it is. And honestly, this is a very hot take, and people are gonna feel really sensitive towards it, but I believe if you don't love the earth, you shouldn't live on it. If you don't care for the earth, you shouldn't be here. You know, like, if I invite you into my home and you start bashing it, I'm gonna kick you out. I'm gonna kick you out. If you start hitting my cat, you start bashing on my little sister, you know, if you start hating on me, and I let you into my home, I'm not gonna be very nice, okay? You know, if you set my house almost on fire, I'm not gonna be nice. If you make my house filled with chemicals, I'm not gonna feel very nice. If you kill off most of my family members, I'm not gonna feel very nice. I might want you to leave, you know? So, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just saying nature will give back what you did to it. Because it's alive. And it's so much more alive than you. Well, to the people that, like, literally, like, I'm sorry, but do you know that there's bones under these? There's a brain? Like, there's life, there's, like, energy. There's energy in me, there's energy in a blade of grass. There's that amazing concept, and you're over here bitching about how someone is learning to love themselves, and you're not even having to pay for it? No, it's going, my taxes are going to there. Bitch, your taxes are going to fucking genocide towards billions of kids. Well, not billions, but, like, still. Okay, if you really want to focus on that, where your taxes are going to, how about we focus on the most important one, how they're funding a genocide? How about we talk about that, okay? Otherwise I don't want to fucking hear it. Bye-bye.